Hey, what's good, everybody? I'd like to welcome you guys to the Boombox Guru channel. I'm your host, LB. So today, man, we got a book review. Actually, we're doing a book review today. I know it's been a while since I've done a book review. That's because I hadn't really been reading too many books here lately, which I need to really get back up on. But recently, I made a purchase, and I was really excited to have this book, and I've already read it. I didn't. I only had it for like maybe a couple of days, and I was finished with it. But that's just how good of a read it was. But the book that I recently have purchased and read is this one right here. This is I'm in the Band, backstage notes from the Chicken White Zombie. So this is a book written by a former White Zombie bassist, Shauna Yseult. She did this book actually. She did it like back in 2010, I believe. But it's basically like a scrapbook that she put together. She kept pretty much everything that had to do with White Zombie, like flyers, journal entries, diaries, everything. She kept it, and she put together this book, put it together like a scrapbook, and she basically like told like stories behind a lot of the stuff that went by, behind the scenes. It basically documents her tenure in White Zombie from the beginning, from when they first formed, all the way up to the breakup. And it was a really cool read. Uh, Trying to show you some pictures. Here's a few pictures right here. I think this is part of the introduction, but here's a few pictures of her right here. This is Sean right here playing live in concert, playing her bass. I think the other picture, that's her and Rob. That's like some photos. That's photos of her and Rob when they were still together. Yeah, of course. And for those of you who may be watching this and don't know, White Zombie, that was the band that her and Rob Zombie that they formed like back in the mid 1980s. That's what he was famous for before his solo career. But yeah, this book basically documents all of that. Lots of cool stories. Here's another cool picture of her playing right here live. Trying to find some more good pictures. Oh, here's the back cover. Here's her on the back cover right here. Hope you guys can see that pretty good. I always liked that picture. That's one of my favorite pictures of Sean. And the cover photo, the book cover, I think that's from the a show that they did in Donington. If I want to say, is the Monsters of Rock? Is that where the correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think that's from their performance at the Monsters of Rock in Donington. I might have that wrong, but it was like a real big like metal festival, man, and like that's where this front cover, the book cover is from. But trying to find some more cool pictures. Came across. Oh, here's one right here. Yeah, cause she kept like all the flyers and stuff from that the band had put together. So here we go. Here's some neat ones right here. This is from the early days of White Zombie. That's the Psycho Head blowout cover. This is a flyer for that. That's the cover. And let's see what else is in here. These photos right here on this page. White Zombie used to have their own. I didn't know this. White Zombie used to have their own zine. They used to have their own zine that they would put together, and that's for like this. These photos right here. These are like excerpts from the zine and everything like that. That's pretty cool. I think this is during like probably Psycho Head blowout, Soul Crusher era. So let's see what else, man. It's a lot of really cool pictures in here. I'm trying to see if I can. I'm trying to find certain ones that like really stick out. Oh, here's one. This is Sean right here. This is her like back in the early '80s. Hold up, I think I got my. Sorry about this, guys. Trying to get this right. Not having too much luck here. Here we go. Yeah, this is her like back in the. Like this is a photo of her like in the early '80s and stuff. This is before she met Rob. This is when she first started, when she moved to New York City and started going to Parsons. What's the other page? Yeah, here's some more photos of her for like back in the early days. Uh, Yeah, this is an early photo right here of her and Rob right here. Hope you guys can see that one of her and Rob right there. Never seen Rob Zombie with that. That's the only photo I ever seen with Rob Zombie with little to no facial hair. But this is when they first started dating, I believe. And then of course this is the early. This is one of the first White Zombie lineups. And this is her and Rob, like I think in '91. But yeah, some really cool photos, man. And I'm gonna try to find. Trying to. Oh yeah, this is some designs. You know, Sean was known for her outfits, and she actually would sketch a lot of that stuff. These are sketches of some of those hot pants that she would wear during like the videos and during the live performances and stuff like that. These are sketches. She would actually sketch these and have like designers and stuff actually put that stuff together. So I'm trying to find another. Oh, here's more flyers. Here's more White Zombie flyers right here, like from their pre-Geffing years. Here's more flyers and stuff right here, stuff like that. More classic photos and stuff. This is from the Make Them Die Slowly era of the band right here. But Sean did a lot, man. She did a lot. Here, oh, this is something I wanted to show right here. This is a what's that? What's it say? Riffs. Yeah, Sean. A lot of y'all don't know Sean. Sean actually was the main songwriter in the band, especially in the early days. Now, when Jay Younger joined the band, Sean and Jay became like part songwriting partners. But yeah, I didn't know that, but Sean actually wrote a lot of the songs in White Zombie, especially in the early days, and Rob would write the lyrics over that. But she would write the songs, and she would give them to like the guitar player or the drummer, whoever's in the band, and she would kind of give them an idea of what they wanted, and then Rob would like write the lyrics over there. But she wrote those songs. She wrote those songs. I didn't know that, and that was really cool to find out because, and the reason why I'm bringing that up is because you have a lot of Rob Zombie stands. They like to really discredit the other members of White Zombie and say that it was all Rob, but that's really not the case. And they a lot of them really like to discredit Sean. I don't know why, but yeah, if you go to any of their videos, the Rob Zombie stands are just ridiculous. And listen, don't get me wrong, Rob Zombie is one of my favorite. He's one of my favorite artists as well. But again, he didn't do all of that on his own. Uh, well, oh yeah, here's another cool picture of her. I think around the early '80s or so. Real cool picture of her right here. I really like this picture, man. That's a really dope picture right here. And I think these are like, this is like stills from like when White Zombie put out their first EP, Guys on Voodoo Moon. I'm trying to find this one page where it really shows like the songs and stuff that she wrote. Cause if you here it is. This is what I was trying to find right here. This is the page right here. Here's proof right here. This right here, these are photos. I hope you guys can see it. I hope you guys can see that. If you look real closely, these you might not can see it that good. These are photos of all the songs that she had written, that Sean wrote, right here on this page. Sean was the only one in the band that knew how to read music, because she studied that stuff. And that's something that I learned in this book as well, is that I hope you guys can see that really good. It might be hard to see it, but yeah, hope you guys can see that. But this is a page where she shows all the riffs and song structures and everything that she wrote, and Rob will write the lyrics over that. Hope you guys could see that well. From my angle, it looked like it was hard to see that, but I hope you guys could see that real well. But yeah, she would write a lot of the songs and stuff like that, and because she was the only one that really knew how to read music. One thing I learned from the book is that Sean, she had been playing music ever since she was a kid. Her parents were in the arts. They were both like professors who was in like the arts. So her and her sister were brought up in this like bohemian lifestyle, and she learned how to play instruments and stuff when she was a kid. And she even acted. She would do theater and stuff like that and dance. Um, and she actually was playing with bands and touring when she was a kid. So she already had a lot of experience before White Zombie formed. Also, she had been playing bass. She had been playing bass since she started playing bass 3 years before she met Rob. Oh, here, and here's the itinerary. Uh, Here's another cool picture. It shows the itinerary and stuff. Again, I hope you guys can see that really well. From my angle, it doesn't look that good, cool, but yeah, this is the itinerary where when they would go on tour, like Sean was responsible for like making sure everything was like really in order. She would like do all the scheduling and everything like that. She did a whole lot. She was almost like the manager. Almost, it was almost like she was the manager of the band in some cases. Here's some more early photos of the band right here. Hope you guys can see that. That's all of them. Like on tour, they like to when they was touring in places, they used to like to stop and like check out the roadside attractions and stuff like that. But yeah, man, this was a really good read, man. Oh yeah, and that's a photo of like Soul Crusher era, White Zombie. And something else that I learned in the book was that Sean, mainly on the early records, she was the one that really created a lot of the cover art for the early records, like Guys on Voodoo Moon, Psycho Head Blowout, Pig Heaven, Slaughter to the Gray, Soul Crusher. She created a lot of those cover arts because her and Rob met when they was going to Parsons School of Design. Rob didn't finish; he ended up getting kicked out. But Sean actually graduated. She graduated, and so she learned all that stuff like graphic design and everything like that. She stayed in there during her time while the band was touring and stuff, and so she learned a lot of that stuff, and she utilized it. She created a lot of those cover arts and stuff of that nature. Here's a picture of some of her bass, one of her basses, right here. There's a picture of one of her bass, but yeah, man, this was a really good, this was a really interesting read. I might even try to read it again. Oh yeah, I like this page too, man. Like, I think this is from Make Them Die Slowly or God of Thunder era, but more cool flyers and stuff right here. A White Zombie. More pics of them while they on tour and stuff. I think they was overseas. They was somewhere in Europe, right there, man. But this is a really good book, man. And I'm trying to find. I don't want to try not to show you guys everything, but I'm trying to show you guys some more pics. Like, there's pictures of them with there's a bunch of pictures of them with Pantera, hanging out with Don Bad Darrow and all them. I'm trying to find some of those. Yeah, here's a picture of them like on tour, hanging out with like members of Caius, a band called Reverend Horton Heat, which I'm not familiar with them, but they're hanging out with members of Caius and stuff like that. And Danzig, there's her with Danzig back in the day and stuff like that. I'm trying to find the pictures of her with like Pantera. There's like lots of pictures of her. Wait, is this it? Oh, here goes some. Here goes some pics right here of the band while they were touring with Pantera and stuff like that. Rex Brown, Phil Anselmo. I don't know if Dom is on this page, but there goes some. I'm trying to find some with her and Dom. Now, you guys just bear with me. Yeah, here we go. Here goes some with Don Bad Darrow and stuff of that nature right here. Yeah, right there. Another bass pick. But yeah, man, this was a really good book, man. I really enjoyed it, man. I learned a lot about Shawn, about how she started out as a musician early in her childhood, how her parents kind of encouraged her and her sister to go into the arts and things of that nature. Uh, how she contributed so much to the band. You know how she was one of the main songwriters uh, up until Jay joined the band, and then they started to collaborate. They started to do the songwriting together. But she wrote a lot of those songs, a lot of those early White Zombie songs. She wrote a lot of that, and Rob would write his lyrics over top of that. And she did so much, man. Like it's like I said, she was almost like the manager of the band in some ways. She was the one who convinced White Zombie to move to L.A. because when they first started recording Le Sexorcisto, they were still in New York City. They recorded that record in New York City, and they turned it in. And it also goes into. She also talks about how even when they signed to Geffen Records, how they were still broke. They were still a band that was broke. They were still struggling. They signed to Geffen in 1990. They recorded Le Sexorcisto in '91 in New York City, and they had to wait a year before the record was released because Geffen didn't know what to do with them. Geffen wasn't really too eager to get the ball rolling for them. So they had to wait, and they were still pretty broke. Even when they moved to LA, they were still kind of broke. It wasn't until, Thunder Kid 65 got on Beavis and Butthead, and they took off, and then all the relentless touring that they were doing up until that point. That's what helped really get the record going, and that's what got the label to get more behind them. But she talks about that. She talks about the early days when her and Rob first met, when they first joined the band. I mean, this is 1980s New York. So she gives some vivid descriptions of like living in 1980s New York City. We talking about like Ed Koch, New York. If like I've never been to New York City in that time or ever at this point, but some of you who probably was from that era probably know what I'm talking about. Like this, we talking about grimy New York City, and she talks about how they basically they lived in some pretty rough places. They lived in like a basement apartment that was, the way she described it, man, I wouldn't even want to walk barefooted in that place. The way she described it, she talked about how like they would have to, there would be people making drug deals right in front of their door, or prostitutes doing business right there in front of the door, and they would have to like kind of wait or push through them to get out and stuff like that. And she's even talked about there were times where she was homeless. Her and her friend were supposed to move to an area in New York City called Alphabet City, which I read about that in John Joseph's book. In his book, I can't think of the title of his book right now. John Joseph's memoir. He talks about Alphabet City extensively in that book, and the way that he described it, Alphabet City was one of the worst places to live in New York City. But she talks about a time where her and her friend were like trying to get a place there. It didn't work out. They actually having to sleep in like the parks at some point. Which this is, like I said, this is 1980s New York City. Like sleeping in the parks was not the best thing to do back then. So it's very interesting, man. Like just to hear her story. And she was from North Carolina. She was from Raleigh, North Carolina, and but she had been to New York City before in her youth, prior to actually living there. But yeah, just a lot of the stories, man. Like her and Rob first meeting, how they hit it off right away, and they were inseparable. They were together for 7 years. And she also goes into detail about how when her and Rob decided to end their relationship and how it really changed the dynamic of the band, how there was like certain things that were taking place that really kind of just hurt the whole morale of the band. And she talks about when they decided to end the relationship, they kind of had like they wanted to do certain things to not mess up the band, but it didn't really pan out that way, and it just ended up faltering. But and she also discusses a little bit of her life after the band and things that she got into later in later years, man. But it was definitely a great read. Like I said, I'm probably gonna pick it up again and read it. But yeah, if you haven't checked out this book, man, definitely make sure you go check out I'm in the Band by Shauna Reynolds, man. man, it was a great read, man. And just to have the pictures and the stories and the tour diaries and stuff to go along with it, that just made it that more remarkable or impressive, man. I just dug the book, man. But definitely check out this book if you haven't read it, man. It's definitely an interesting read. So I highly recommend it, man, especially for fans of White Zombie like myself. But yeah, that's it for this book review. I didn't mean for this video to go as long as it did, but I just wanted to, point out make some key points in the video. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, definitely give me a like, hit that thumbs up, it helps with the algorithm. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button and tap the bell. That way you'll be notified whenever I drop new content. I want to give a huge thank you to everybody that's been supporting the channel and watching the videos. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to all my old and new subscribers. And as always, hope everybody has a blessed day, a blessed week. Love, peace, and music. Peace out, y'all.